locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose movement. Welcome to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men in a Changing World. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. This groundbreaking podcast delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations. In an era where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve, this show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
Each episode aims to foster understanding and bridge the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships. I am Dr. Garfield McCook, one of your hosts. By bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning.
So whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating the complexities of a changing world. I am Dr. Juan Marcel, one of your other co-hosts. Doc, what's going on this week? What's new? It's Monday. What's new?
It's February.
It's February, yes.
And what does
Black
that
History
mean?
Month.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Black History Month. That's a big deal, right?
Yes.
It's a huge deal.
That's a huge deal. Now, the last time I checked, we fit into that category, right? We should call it Voices of Black Men in a Changing World. How about that? Let's call it that for tonight.
Yes.
We can do that. I'm with that.
Go ahead. Let's hear from you, Dr. Juan.
No, I think that is so apropos, especially in the times we're in now. You know, that the challenges with this new administration, you know, there's so much going on with the news about the DEI and corporations pulling out and how it impacts our community. And just to think about a group of people or the powers that be wanting to almost erase our history when Black history is American history, you know, and not want to talk about it, you know, wanting to fine or arrest or penalize teachers and organizations and federal agencies for teaching Black history is pretty upsetting.
You know, as you talk about teacher, right? Our teachers, as you talk about teachers, our guest tonight is a teacher, and she's not a male. We thought it would be a good, good mix, a good different perspective to bring a female teacher on. So that's what we have on tonight. But you're talking about teaching, Augusta.
Yeah.
How important is it for us to stay focused and speak the truth, and why our teachers are so critical?
Oh man, listen, doctor. I'm reminded of a amazing woman who we laid to rest a little over a decade ago. She was my second and third grade teacher. She was a Black Panther. She was an activist, and all of the knowledge and power and understanding and the importance of being Black specifically. We learned that not just in our home with my parents, but being able to see her face and have her voice in school. I carry that with me to this day at nearly 40 years old. All of those lessons and stories about not just MLK and Rosa Parks, but her in-depth analysis on people, you know, like Matthew Henson and H. Rap Brown and Kwame Ture and all of these historical important figures. And it's important to have teachers that look like you, that sound like you, that speak to your experience, and not just to have them, but for them to be honest and authentically themselves, because it allows you, even at that young age, to say, man, I'm comfortable, I can be me.
You know, what a solid point, Chris. You know, you talk about it is important to have teachers that look like us, but authentic is also important, because we've seen some of our officials, government officials, who they look like us. They sure don't behave and sound like, at least they don't advocate for us, do they? So very important. Let's give it to Dr. McCook. And Dr. McCook, you know, we had a get together yesterday.
Yes.
And can you jump in on that, please?
Yeah, so yesterday we had started off Black History Month and Reggae Month with the launch of the Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition. That's something we do a launch on an annual basis on the first Sunday in February. And basically last evening, Dr. Laxley and I were there outlining for folks who want to enter the competition, which is basically geared to Jamaican artists or artists of Jamaican descent living in the diaspora to showcase their musical talent during Jamaica's independence celebration. We had a good turnout, a good launch, and we played songs from the past. The winning songs are the top 3 songs from the past 4 years. This is our 5th year, and we all know anything you do, increments of 5 is always a milestone. So we're looking forward to this year, our 5th year. I know Augusta and Dr. Juan are going to be there. They asked me if they can enter, and I told them, you know, well, what sort of Jamaican connection you have? And I think Augusta said I think he's dating a Jamaican, and I said that's not a qualification. That's not a qualifying. That doesn't qualify you.
Don't give me the dough.
Yes, and you know, we also mentioned, you know, the pardoning of Marcus Mosiah Garvey by President Biden on his way out, and which is a good feat for Jamaica. Marcus Garvey has done so much. I mean, he was here in the United States and trying to do good things and was arrested or prosecuted, and we just couldn't get that negative stigma away. So hopefully now with the pardoning, I mean, things will get right. We'll get things right and we'll move forward. But to all, happy Reggae Month, happy Black History Month to all.
You know, when I think about all those heroes, those individuals who gave it all for us, I can't help but think that here's an opportunity for us to do just that. It's time for us to lay it on the line and continue to work, right? And each of us on this platform tonight, it's a golden opportunity for us to stand up, show up, and do what those men and women did. And anyone out there listening, just know that this is a call to action. It's not a time to sit down and say, wow, these times are so challenging, so rough. They're what they are. Well, what should we do about them is the question.
Yeah.
What is the decision? What are the choices you're going to make moving forward? And I'm here to tell you that step up, show up, and do something about it. Take control of your life and act as if it is important. Because guess what? If you identify your life as important, what will you do? You'll do what is necessary, what you need to do. So, yes, we have GIFs coming up right around the corner. coming up real fast. But guess what else is coming up? Even before GIFs.
Colloquium.
Juan, let's hear about the colloquium. And why is the colloquium so important to you, Juan?
Man, it is a major event. I would almost say, not even almost, I'm going to say it's a life-changing event because it did just that for me, you know. And being in a room, a crowd of people of honoring and acknowledging so many people that are doing this work that, like, as you know, Augusta said, who are authentic and genuine in their work, and it's a number of people from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different ages and genders, and it's encouraging. It's definitely inspirational. And even though I'm fully aware of my purpose, even as I evolve, being in that room with all of these unsung heroes, these just average, ordinary, doing extraordinary work, I left inspired. I left asking the question, like you said, Doc, what else? What more can I do? You know, so that's why it means a lot, you know, because you realize you step out of your bubble, right? Your silo, and realize you're not the only one. And then on top of that, you know, I have to put this plug in there because I am a independent college and career advisor. You know, we're offering scholarships to students who are finding and searching and seeking that path, you know, working on discovering that their purpose. So, and we're able to contribute to that process. So that's major.
And before we go to Gary and Augusta, I just want to say that we're offering scholarships. We're offering 5 scholarships for students in attendance. And by the way, students attend for free. We're also offering 2 scholarships to students in Kenya, all the way in Kenya. Two students will be the recipient of 2 scholarships. And we're looking for someone, a donor out there, to donate 2 scholarships for students in Jamaica. I know we have a few days left, so we're asking anyone listening, please show up, step up, and do your part. Donate, or make a donation, make a contribution towards two scholarships in Jamaica. We just lost someone. I'm not sure why, but we're going to bring him right back on. Hey, welcome back, man.
It was strange.
You jumped off and you changed up the whole look of things by jumping off. That's why things work better when all 4 of us are on, right?
Yes.
That's why we're here.
There's power in numbers.
Dr. McCook, talk to us about the colloquium. One more thing. We should also congratulate Juan because he's an honoree. We're honoring Juan for all his work in service work. So congratulations, Juan.
Thank you. Right. Thank you.
And last year, Dr. McCook was an honoree.
Yes. It was a great experience. As you talk about unsung heroes, and you know, there were many people there that were honored, and each of us came with a different perspective on our collision with purpose. So we all heard from different vantage points and realized that in life, I always say your collision with purpose, my collision with purpose has changed over the years. Things when I was younger, I collided with a certain purpose and it led me in a certain direction. And over the years, as I grow older, there are different collisions that I have. And the collisions really are things that happen in your life that make you sit back and kind of assess and say, where do I go from here? We can't be stagnant in our purpose. Our purpose is ongoing, ever flowing. So it was great to be honored. And I look forward this year to being one of the speakers presenting. Thanks to Dr. Lax for entrusting that in me as one of the speakers. I thank you, sir. And Dr. Juan and Augusta, we were all there last year, and I'm sure we had a good time. And we're reaching out to everyone out there. You missed last year, don't miss this year. It's happening during the Black History Month, so which is very significant. Again, the date is on February 22nd, and Dr. Latz and Juan and the others will elaborate more on that. But see you there. Scholarships will be given. Come and mingle and tingle with your folks.
Thank you, Dr. McCook. You know, I posted the link in the chat, in the comment section, so you can purchase your tickets there. They're $60. Be there. You don't want to miss it. So, Juan, No, let's go to Augusta. We did one already. Let's go to Augusta. Augusta, you were speaking as well. In fact, you will jump this thing off.
Right. So I'm, second year in a row. It gets greater. It gets greater later. Every year we go in with an expectation that this is going to grow, that this is going to be bigger. Last year was, for its infancy stage, was amazing. For it to come from the ground up to that, the amazing work from, Miss Donna. Hi, Auntie. I know you watching somewhere. Amazing work from Miss Donna, yourself, the entire team, from people who set up, took down, catering, everything. And I would encourage anyone who's, specifically if you're in the Atlanta or metro Atlanta area, if you're anywhere around 285, 75, 85, if you're within a 45-minute to 1 hour drive of Snellville on February 22nd, there was no reason you should not be here. If you're somebody who you like supporting real, authentic effort and work, where you can see the people, you see the diligence, it's visible, you can see the work being done, you like seeing people being honored for the work that they've done, you enjoy seeing people, as the old folk in the church would say, getting their flowers while they could smell them, there's no reason you should not. You're an hour away, 30 minutes away. We should see you there that night, enjoying and celebrating not just these people, but this is Atlanta. Let's call it what it is. People here like business. They like networking. They like-minded folk. You're not going to find the first quarter of this year a more important, a more significant event than February 22nd over there at Shiloh High School. So I expect to see you there. I expect to see you networking. I expect to see you shaking hands, and I expect you to bring your child to possibly get a scholarship too.
Thank you so much. And of course, children, students, they attend for free, no charge for students. Adults, of course, you have to pay. It's $60. And for that $60, you're able to enter the event, and you also get a copy of Daily Insights Unveiled, Your Odyssey to Find Purpose. Now, if you can't attend the event, you can also purchase the book, and I highly encourage that you do so. Now, we have a guest tonight, and we should not hold her up anymore. So let us take a quick break, and then we'll come back and bring her on.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I write His word, blessing come out of my mouth, cause I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray, for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I write His word, blessing come out of my mouth, because I know to whom I belong. I am bold for Christ, Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid.
All right, welcome back to Bridging Generations, Voices of Men in a Changing World. And just so you know, if you're out there watching, and by the way, welcome and thanks for joining us tonight. We have some folks out there we want to acknowledge. There's Lisa, there's Dr. Donna, there's Sister Marsha, and a number of other folks are out there watching, and we welcome you. We appreciate you joining us. We don't take your time for granted, so we're so grateful and thankful for that. You listen to this song, Bold Kid. It's not just a song. It's a line, it's a product line, and so many other things which is about to go live. You know, we will be launching that whole Bold Kid line at the colloquium, so stand by for that. Now, I'm going to play a video, and Dr. McCook will do the thing and introduce our guest. You got it, Doc?
Are you playing the video first, or are you going to go straight?
Do the introduction.
Do the introduction first?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So thanks again for joining us here. Today we have a special guest, and I'm not sure if this is the first time we're having a female as a guest. It may be, so it's earth-shattering to have a young lady who we're going to hear from tonight. She is a dedicated educator specializing in science and religious education, working with both children and adults. Beyond the classroom, she empowers students as a writing coach and PEP, which is primary exit profile tutor, guiding them towards academic success. She's also actively involved in youth ministry and the Jamaica 4-H Club, demonstrating her commitment to nurturing and developing young people in all aspects of their lives. Wow. Without further ado, let us welcome from Spicy Hill, Jamaica, none other than Ruchelle.
She asked us to just play this video before she come on. She wanted an entrance.
Yes.
Okay. That to her. How about that? She wanted to make a grand entrance, and there she is.
Yes, Miss Ruchelle Vincent.
Youth in agriculture map to young. Oh, big things.
4-H.
Yeah.
I like it.
Those are some of the kids that she worked with. Wow.
Over. Under. Over.
Under.
What's next? Over. We can like that, Taylor. You see that? Everybody seen it?
Yeah. So we're seeing her in action before we even bring her on. Isn't that pretty cool?
Mm-hmm. That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Here they would say that's lit.
So what, let's What's on there?
Science project.
This teacher is doing all kinds of stuff, isn't she?
Yes.
Now, youth ministry and you can't. What's this all about?
Versatile young lady.
Yes. Let's bring her on. Let's bring her on. We want to have her live and in person.
Drum roll for Ruchelle Vincent.
Ow.
Wow.
Welcome.
You to unmute. There we go.
All right.
Hello,
gentlemen.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Wow.
The floor is yours, Ruchelle.
All right, so hello everyone. Let me ensure my voice is up and running. Hello. I am Ruchelle. That video was me. I am she. All right, so thank you again. I'm excited to be on.
Ruchelle, we're excited to have you on. Normally, this is a show with men. Well, what a fitting occasion to have you on tonight. We have some sound, some noise going on. So if you're not speaking, we ask that you mute. That way we can control the noise. All right. I think that was coming from Ruchelle. So anyway, so fitting to have you on tonight. And Ruchelle, we're having a conversation earlier, and you started to tell me about Spicy Hill. And what a name for a place. What is that all about, Spicy Hill?
All right, so let me just tell you about my fabulous community. The name of my community, And this is not just community that I am living in, but community that I grew in. You understand? So I grew as a little girl, grew up as a little girl in Spicy Hill, and now as an adult, it is my place. Doesn't matter where I go, Spicy Hill will always be home. So we got our name. Anybody wants to guess? No, we don't have a lot of pepper trees, but we got our name because we have a whole lot of pimento trees. Now, if you know pimento, you know pimento is a lovely spice. And so the community is also hilly. So we're on the hill. So thus the name Spicy Hill.
Wow. Hills and pimento. And hence we have it called Spicy Hill. Just tell us a little bit about growing up, a little bit about, your early life. Share something with us.
All right. So my early life was lovely as a child. I grew up in what you would call a big yard. A lot of persons, relatives of mine, we lived in one yard. So, as a child, you want to be where other children are. And so that was just fun. It was like a play day every day. So that is how I grew up. I grew up with a number of my cousins, and every day, especially summer days, were always lovely. So I grew up in a community within a community. So big yard, where I grew up, my yard that belonged to one Miss Millicent Cowell and Kenneth Cowell had such an identity. Everyone knew us. They knew that, all right, these are the people from over Miss Millie or over Marcel, right? And so it gave me a sense of belonging. And what it did for me growing up in a setting like that, it did so much. One, it helped me to work or to be able to work with diverse individuals, because the people in my yard, they had several personalities. So you had those who were quiet, those who were jovial, those who were serious. So it did something for me growing up in an environment like that. Growing up was fun. My early days between 1 and 5, best days.
Wow. Lady from Big Yard.
Yes.
Yeah. You said one thing that you said diverse. And that's a big, big word right now in this country where we live, diversity. Anyway, we're going to pass it to Dr. McCook. Do your thing.
Yes, so welcome again, and let's talk a little about your personal journey and inspiration. The name Ruchelle, it's a unique spelling, so I look at you as a unique person. Everyone is individual. Any individual should be unique. Your name, what does your name mean?
Okay, so I love my name, right? Mm-hmm. So when I started loving my name, I did a whole research because I wanted to know, what does this name mean? Mm-hmm. So my name, Ruchelle, means little rock. And my middle name is Joy Ann. And my last name is Vincent. So when you put it together, it means little rock that conquers with joy.
And yes, and it seems that you have lived up to that meaning, because we looked at your resume, and a very extensive resume for a young person like you to have done so much in such a short time. How has your personal story of resilience shaped the woman you are today?
Okay, thank you. All right, so anybody that knows me, they'll tell you I am a go-getter. I am resilient, and thanks be to God, I would say I have displayed much strength. I am one who, I don't believe that adversity or being up against the odds should give you an excuse to give up. You understand where I'm going? So I believe in always fighting. So I've had so many challenges in my life growing up, but I am always on the go forward. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll cry. There are days when I cry, but best believe that I'm going to wipe those tears and I'm going to fight again. I'm going to go again. I'm going to try again. They call me the night owl. They say, oh, you don't sleep. I say, yes, I sleep. But I take a lot of the hours in the night and I think about real big dreams and real things I want to accomplish. Sometimes I don't even know how to. but I'm up and I'm researching. I wonder how they've done this, and I want to do it, and I research. I think that's who I am as a person, always trying something business, something new. Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
and
music, huh?
just as a follow-up, one second. Just as a follow-up, I know you mentioned that you emulate your mom. So growing up, your mother was a major influence in your life. What lessons from her did you find yourself passing to the young people you mentor today?
All right, my lovely mother, Dainty Illarette White. The late Dainty Illarette White. Such a pretty name. She was indeed a pretty woman in spirit, pretty woman in heart. Now, growing up with my mother knew how to do some stretching. Went to share a joke. I don't know if it's a joke, but so do you know Vienna sausages, those sausages in the little tin?
Yes.
All right. So here in Jamaica, 7 would come in the tin. So it was my mom, my late mom, and my late brother, 3 of us. And my mom would use a Vienna sausage, a tin, to stretch for dinner. Everybody's belly would be full. This woman was so innovative that she would use cardboard to cut and make little cards for us to play. I watched her one day take pictures from a magazine, regular magazine, flowers, and she made a big bad wall decor. And so what that did for my mother, and she was also somebody that was very kind, very selfless. What that did for me was that enabled me just to be the person to encourage youths to be innovative, to satisfy, to stretch. Something doesn't work out your way. You don't have this. Nothing is wrong with having, a little. Let the little work. They say little is much when God is in it. And I think that is something that I got from my mother. Her sense of resourcefulness, innovativeness, selflessness. My mother, the great Dainty White.
Wow. Right. Thank you so much for that. Juan, we'll move it to you. Unmute.
I was practicing, but so so from teaching cocoa plants in your backyard to becoming an educator, what fueled the early passion for teaching, and how has it evolved over the years?
All right, so I think teaching chose me. I'm going to be very honest. I think teaching chose me. I'm going to tell you that teaching is something that it just felt like a part of me as a little girl. And I think I had great teachers too, because my earliest memory of education, because I went to the Spicy Hill Basic School when I was 2 years old, my mother said, "No, man, you talk too much. You are too outspoken. You need to go to school." And I can remember my basic school teachers. I can remember Miss Tony, who would teach us to count using the corks from the bottle, who would take us outside and let us count trees and stones. I can remember Miss Angela Williams, who taught me how to write the letter 3. She was such a great writer on the board. And my final teacher at basic school, the late Miss Nevada Jarrett. Now that woman had some lovely charts. So as a little girl, I would sit down and I would read the charts, and she would teach me about the community workers, the neighboring community. Those ladies were so bright. It is as if they knew everything, and I wanted to be like them. And so I started teaching cocoa plants. I would dress up in old church clothes with my mother's old handbag. And I would go out and I would do register. And best believe I would do discipline too. And I would discipline those plants. Yes, and I would take questions too. And so I started practicing and playing teacher. And then it just became something that I loved more and more. So much so that I started my first summer school when I was only 12 years old. I think teaching chose me. That's how I feel.
Wow. One, ask another question. You look like you want to ask a few more.
I was going to say, just listening to her say, I think teaching chose me. sounds like, a collision with purpose. I just wanted to put that out there, that's exactly what this sounds like. But yeah, so you've taught at various levels, from children to adults. What do you believe is the key to unlocking the potential in every learner, regardless of their age or their background?
Or so I didn't. Could you repeat for me, please?
What do you believe is the key to unlocking the potential in every learner?
All right. So, as my intro would have stated, I have had the privilege, because it's a privilege, to teach both adults and children. And I believe the key thing is just to see persons as humans. That's number one. You've got to understand that you're not teaching a rock, you're not teaching a piece of paper, you're teaching humans. And humans have feelings, right? And so I practice this whole business of being a very simple person, not biased, very plain. I try to respect them. I was talking to a group of grade one children the other day, and I said, Miss. And somebody looked at me like, I said, yes, I want them to respect me. And so I give respect and I have conversation with them too. Sometimes we're walking on the compound hand in hand and we're reasoning, and I'm asking them questions as though they are even my age. And so I think the key is just to be respectful, as I mentioned, to see your learners or your students as people, and that will help you in your delivery and your approach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before we go to you, Augusta, I just want to say something that we've had a number of guests come on this show, but we've never had one that sent their intro in. This is the first that said, I want to be introduced with this video. And how powerful is that? So, Ruchelle, we appreciate you. Confidence, resilience, courage.
Yes.
It's just amazing, and we really appreciate that. And especially in the times that we're living in, you're saying things like, no matter what the situation, they're not giving up. It's not an excuse, and we truly appreciate that. Juan, Augusta, can you unmute and jump in with the questions?
Yes. In everything you're saying, I can hear and visibly see, like I hear the passion. I see the love for what you do. So I do feel like teaching called you. With that being said, you were able to witness a 60-year-old student, learner, earn distinction. So we know that like education is transformative, and even like the smile on your face coming up. How have moments like that impacted you and encouraged you and like with your approach to teaching and instruction? How has it affected you? How has it helped you?
All right. So I want to start off by saying, beautiful question. So learning is an ongoing process. Learning goes beyond classroom, whiteboard, blackboard, projector. Learning should affect the way you live. And working with adult learners, what that did for me, it gave me the opportunity to make impact on them so that they could live better lives. Now, this lady in question, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She is a custodian. This woman would go to work. And by the way, at 60, she was older than my mother. My late mother was not 60, when she passed. And so this was an elderly lady, respectable woman. And she would go to work as a custodian, come to class in the evening. And I noticed that when she came, there was this timidness, this shyness, not wanting to displease me. And I was very frank with her. I said, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, I am here to help you. And this lady worked. She made errors, but I was in the background cheering her on. And she worked. You see, when she got that distinction, mark you, she's still a custodian. But you can't be confident like that woman. I hear that in her line of work, her communication is just. And when I see her on the road, she's waving and I'm waving, and we go our merry way. And for me, just to be able to assist that woman in getting a distinction in her city and guilds examination at 60 years old. She may never use it, as I say, in terms of professional, in terms of showing academics and so on, but just to see her, beam with joy, with that accomplishment, and just to know that she felt, like a better woman, that did something to me and for me. One of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had as a teacher instructor.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So there's someone who's 60 years old and a learner, and you do a lot of work with the youth. So you're doing all of the age groups. How, with all of the AI and the social media and the phones, how do you keep people interested in learning and education? How do you make it meaningful? How do you engage them and interact with them with all that distraction of technology? How do you do it?
Right. All right. So I'm going to start from the little ones, because youngsters, this generation, they're into games, they're into research, they're into what I do in my classroom. So let me start with the hat of being a science teacher. In my classroom, I promote research, but it has its place in terms of research in the World Wide Web. So I have a no phone zone. I'll allow them to do research. When it's research time, you're allowed to. But what I do is I engage them learning through discovery, learning through play. I make sure that as a teacher, I am always prepared. So I don't go and scratch my head and wonder, what am I going to teach today? No, man, I was up from 3 a.m. I thought about possible jokes that I could crack, possible stories that I could give. I also thought about experiments that would not just bring out the content, but experiments that would wow them, right? And so the technology is there as distraction, but man, when I come out with those experiments or a dub, the children, they tend to love dub. And if you would have seen it in one of the videos, they were just jumping because, as Jamaicans, we're into music, right? And so I practice incorporating the arts. I practice being knowledgeable about my content area and just creating an atmosphere where learning is not a pressure or a bother, but learning is fun. And people like to have fun, apparently.
People like to have fun. Is that so true? Now, let us acknowledge some folks, right? So we have quite a few folks on. We have Miss Rosalind Benjamin, Marsha McIntosh, Martin. We have Jennifer Golden, Lisa Harris. We have Alexia Jarrett, Dolores Monte Shaw. We have Caricia Brown. We have Lisa Richmond, Paulette Ricketts Thompson, Karen Johnson, Bianca Brown, and Dr. Lexi Johnson, and the list, we are Rovell St. C. Chambers, and the list just continue and continue. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about leadership and community involvement, and Dr. McCook, you will lead off. Let's do one question per host, all right, so we can keep it flowing. But Ruchelle, I'm going to play a video, and I want you to pay close attention, all right? Because we're going to have a few questions for you from the video, okay?
Okay, sir.
A trail is written of hearts that strive through fire and flame. They find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with heart forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night, the empowerment darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron knows where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. Shining in the night, and the tales unfold in the battle's new. Conviction's light sees them through, from abysses deep to the morning light. They becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. Tales of old and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light. They become iron in the endless fight. They become iron in the endless fight. In the tales of old and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through.
All right, welcome back from the tales of old to the battle new. All right, so welcome back to Bridging Generation, Voices of Men and One Powerful Woman. That's who we have here with us tonight. One powerful woman. Ruchelle, as you watch that video, you know, I know it says men, right? But there are 4 categories. One is the resilient, one is the empowered, one is the brave. What's the next one, guys? Inspiring man.
Inspiring.
Where do you see yourself? You can only choose one.
I see myself the first. Resilient.
You said it. You said it. And you know, if you go around the room real quick, Dr. McCook, real quick.
Yes, I am. Well, resilience. I think that's me also. I think we all have something in common because we don't give up. We're there, and nothing stands in our way.
Yes.
We find a solution for everything. So
All right, Dr. Juan.
Brave man.
All right,
Right.
Augusta. Unmute. Just
I think he's still muted.
Oh, sorry. Brave. The brave man. Dare to be different. Dare to break away from the norm.
so I noticed one thing. We have 2 coming over to my side. Augusta now joining me as a brave man, and Juan has joined me as a brave man. So I welcome that. Now, gentlemen, I know you're all of those things. So we put it out there. And Ruchelle, I know you're all of those things, but we say you just pick one. You can only pick one. Now, let's get back to the program. Dr. McCook, you go up with your question, please.
Yes. So, let me commend you again. Augusta mentioned something a while ago about your passion. I mean, you can see it's exuding from you when you speak, and it's comforting. I'm just hopeful that you may be an unsung hero there in Jamaica, but after this call, I think we're gonna make some calls to make sure that you're recognized, because you're a good leader. You're a good teacher. It comes from within. It comes naturally. So we'll make sure, if it has not happened as yet, it will happen. Now, you've worn many leadership hats, from church roles to youth organizations. What has leadership taught you about people, and what advice would you give to aspiring leaders?
All right. Leader. I'll ask a question. Can you be a leader? Can you become a leader if you're not a good follower? I want to say to aspiring leaders, it is important to learn how to follow.
Wow.
And I tell you the truth.
That's good.
There are great heights that you will go, but you've got to learn sometimes to sit at the feet of the people who've gone before you.
Wow.
Who've gone there before you. That's number one. Number two, it is important to recognize that you are human, that you don't know everything.
Mhm.
It is important to let the people around you, the people you lead, know that they're valuable to you.
Mhm.
You need them. It is a team. There is no I in team. That one sounds a little cliche, but it is so true. There is no I in team. And so, as a leader, you've got to recognize that. And so, I've learned that working with the various youth groups, I have learned that it is important and maintaining humility, recognizing too that nothing is wrong with delegating. You're a leader, you've been placed at the forefront, but nothing is wrong with giving somebody else a role. And especially when you see talent in other people. I mean, there is enough space for all of us. There is a word, a biblical word called Ebenezer, right? And I'm going to tell you. Not even sure if it's Ebenezer. It slipped my thought just now. But the word I want to bring across, it says that there is enough room. That's the word. Enough room and enough space. So if you dig one well, you're a leader, you're doing well. And the persons where you're digging the well or you're leading, they don't really agree with you. It doesn't mean it's the end of the road. Because sometimes you're leading and the flock that you're leading, they're not following with you. They're not with you. What are you going to do? Respect them, bid them well, and you go somewhere else and you dig another well, and so you've got to be mindful that criticisms are gonna come, oppositions are gonna come,
Yep.
but be respectful, learn to love people, and again, learn how to be humble. Humility is key. So you can either volunteer and be humble, or life and leadership will teach you. The Jamaican proverb said, the higher the monkey go, the more it is, the more he or it is exposed. And so, as a leader, you've got to also ensure that you walk in integrity. Yeah, man, because you're seen, you're in the forefront. Can't be double standard. You have to live a life that is good and you have to do what is right. You're a role model. And so, that's my encouragement for aspiring and young leaders.
Before we go to Juan, Dr. Juan, we have non-Jamaicans watching, right?
Yes.
Talk to us about the monkey thing, the higher the monkey. Explain that, break that down.
All right. So you are, don't know, have you ever climbed a ladder before?
Mhm.
And the more you go up, the more the persons on the ground are able to see you, even things you don't want them to see. The higher you go up, the more persons will see you. Sometimes you have flaws, and the higher you go up in leadership, the higher you recognize, persons are gonna start seeing. And it also means that, look, you're high, but you can fall. So you're climbing high, and your impact to the ground will be greater. So it's twofold. You've just got to be humble.
It's a steep drop. It's a steep
Steep
drop.
drop.
That's what
You
it
said it
says.
right.
A
Yeah,
hard job.
You said it right.
yeah. So, Dr. Juan, let's go to you. After the
Yes,
steep
yes. Well, you mentioned before that at the age of 12, which is truly remarkable, but you started an organization or a camp. You started the Sunshine Faves Kids Club. What motivated you at such a young age to do that, and then how has that experience influenced your current initiatives?
All right. So the Sunshine Favorite Club. I was 12. Didn't know a lot about club life, but I know what I wanted. I really wanted to share art with children my age, children younger, and even children older. And so I decided, because my grandparents at the time, they had a shop front, an open area with seats, and men would play dominoes in the night. I dominated in the daytime. And so I would invite children to come because I love art. I really love art. And I would draw, and we would make little things together. And it just grew. Children were interested. And a cousin of mine, I think she's on tonight, Casey. I remember sharing the idea with her, And every single thing that I do, Casey is just always in it. Oh, yes, man. And probably some persons would say, go sit down. What you know at 12? But Casey was yes. And I remember once we had an exhibition and fundraising. Imagine us as children, what could we possibly sell? Man, we sold cushions. We sold little chicken that we fried. We mixed drinks because the club needed funding. And so that was really the early stage, or that gave birth to my desire or love for events and events planning. Because what the club did, even though yes, it was to develop the skills in children and just give them something to do. You can come over and we can sit together and sew something, or we could do a little drawing. But the fact that I had to be raising money for the club, that developed in me a skill set that I hold today. This whole business of fundraising, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Oh, yeah, Augusta, jump on it. I see you getting
Yeah,
yourself.
so I'm gonna ask a question, but I also go back to something she said earlier. It was interesting. Your name means little rock that conquers, and you mentioned Ebenezer, and you remember Ebenezer in the Bible is literally it's a stone of help. It's a stone
Help.
of assistance.
Yes.
So I was like,
Yes.
oh, I was like, that's. I said, I like that. I like that. So, I mean, you're fundraising, you're teaching, you're doing community work, you are active in your community. You exemplify everything that someone would look to as like this is an amazing person who, me personally, in today's world, I would say this person should run for office because they have a heart for service. They actually want to do these things and it's genuine and it's real. How do you do all of that and not get burned out? Like, how do you balance it all and still find time to catch a couple of hours of sleep and, to find the you time? How do you balance it all?
Right. So I'm going to make a confession because I know my friends are on, my relatives are on too. Save my head. You know what taught me that greatest lesson? Burnout taught me how not to burn out myself. So I actually learned the very hard way. I made mention prior that as a leader, you've got to learn how to delegate. You've got to learn how to ask for help, right? You've got to learn also just to know when to say no. I remember I was in a season of no's. Some people didn't take the no. Can you do this for me? No. And then I felt bad and I would go back and say, all right, I can help you a little. But you've got to know when to say no. You've got to know when to say soon come. You've got to know when to say, I really can't help you this way, but I'll support you that way. And when you do that, you begin to protect self. You understand? You begin to preserve self. Because the truth is, how can you do great things? Great things for God, great things for school, great things for community when you are burnt out. You are your greatest resource. And so you've got to practice self-care. And so what I do is, I love to work. I'm going to tell you the truth. But what I do is I really like gardening. And so I am a fan of gardening. I love orchids. I really love to just sit and just watch a little movie about dogs. I love videos with dogs, and so I find time just to unwind, right? And I also listen to music. So I listen to music. I just get into worship and meditation, and I feel good, and I go again. And a big task comes up, and I feel fresh. If it is too big, I delegate. I do it in chunks, right?
Mm,
Yes.
wow. Thank you for that. Rochelle, before we go on to talk about faith and personal growth, I want to give you an opportunity to say, give a big shout out to your friends who are watching.
All right. I really don't know who is on, but friends, family members, relatives, I love you. I love you. I want to give a special shout out tonight to a group of people. My earliest memory involves them. And I'm going to call them a name. I'm going to call them Punches, children. Those people, they've been really good to me. They were good to my mother. They've been good to me. I want to shout out to my brother and friend Jermaine. Want to shout out to my sister. I call her Sister Young. I have to shout out to my good co-worker, Mrs. Martin, and just about all of my friends, my supporters, my family from Pentecostal Assemblies of Jesus, my community members. Thank you for always supporting me. And believe me, I put on a whole lot of events sometimes, and these people are always supporting me. I appreciate you all sincerely.
Awesome. By the way, Sister Marsha McIntosh Martin sent a message as well. She said, "Talented and skillful with ease." That's her message to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about faith and personal growth, right? You're a woman of faith, and it's such a big piece of your life, a cornerstone of your life, in fact. How has your spiritual journey influenced your professional path and personal growth?
All right, I love that question. So, faith, my spiritual walk, is very important to me. Now, my Bible, my Christian Bible, my Bible tells me that whatever I do in word or in deed, I must do it, right? As unto the name of the Lord. My Bible lets me know that there is an unseen eye and that I am accountable, to the Lord. And so here it is. I'm going to teach. My principal is not in my classroom. There are no cameras there. Do I go and just work my money? Or do I, as unto God, ensure that I do my best in not just teaching, but becoming a role model, in not just teaching, but becoming a positive influence to the children and even to the adults that I am dealing with. Follow where I'm going? And so faith helps me. There's this lively conscience in me that tells me you've got to do whatever you're doing well. You've got to ensure that you're honest. And I keep, reiterating those virtues, saying them over and over. You've got to ensure that you're honest. You've got to ensure that you're not slothful in whatever you're doing. Sometimes you will not be able, and this is me now speaking outside of not just being a teacher, but even somebody interested in business. You may take on a project and you are not able to fulfill that which you promise. It is so important just to be open. I struggle with that a bit, not wanting to disappoint anybody. But faith says always tell the truth, always make sure that you are doing the right thing. And it's good for men to applaud you. It's good for men to applaud you. It's good for persons to say, yay. But it's even a bigger feeling when you know that God is pleased with what you are doing. And that, for me, fine gentlemen, that for me is it. I love to know that God is happy with what I'm doing.
They say on the street, that is it, right?
That is it.
So, Ruchelle, this is not a question, just an observation, and you can comment on it if you so wish. We have interviewed a number of teachers from Jamaica in recent times, and they're all coming from where you're from, by the way, from Trelawney. But we noticed something, and I'm wondering if this is a common thing for teachers across the country of Jamaica, across the island. Because we're seeing a level of integrity, dedication, commitment, and all of those powerful types of things to describe how teachers are operating. So is this a common thing for teachers across the island, or is this something that can be attributed to your group teachers?
All right. So I hope that as teachers, we know that integrity, having just morals and values, you're taught that in teachers' college, hey, you need to have positive morals and values. I can't speak though for the wider group. I can speak to the group at my school, to the group within my circle. I find that they're real people of integrity. And I have lived to be under the tutelage of great teachers, as I would have mentioned. My early teachers, they were women who were they were just so well spoken. They were dedicated to their work. Yes, man. I don't know if it's a Trelawney thing. No offense to anybody, but I don't know. But the teachers I have met in my parish, they are indeed excellent, top tier, top quality teachers.
It must be the yellow. It must be the yellow yam.
I don't know if it's the yam.
Anyway, we'll move it to Dr. McCook. Dr. McCook, and so here's another Trelawney man right here, Dr. McCook.
Rochelle, I think there's got to be some amendment or something done in Jamaica to change Spicy Hill to Rochelle Village. I think that has a good ring to it. Now, there's in the Bible, in Matthew 19:26, where Jesus says, with man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. Meaning that anything is achievable with God's power, even if it seems impossible to humans. You've shared a powerful story about feeling divinely touched while ministering at Granville Girl Home. Can you describe how moments like that reinforce your faith and your mission?
Yes. So, my college life, campus journey, I was blessed to be a part of a ministry called UCAM, Universities and Colleges Apostolic Ministry. And I can recall one day I wasn't well. I was actually at school and I did some strenuous activity, and so I wasn't well. We were having PE. And I remember, because I went to school in Montego Bay, and I left Montego Bay, came to Trelawney, stopped at the hospital, went for a check because I was really feeling terrible. And I left the hospital that night, went to the shop before my home because there was a mission the next day. And I bought all the things as the leader of the group. And the Saturday morning, it was a Friday, so the Saturday morning we journeyed to the place of safety, girls' home, Granville Girls' Home, right? And while we were there, I looked at myself afterwards in the pictures. Gentlemen, I was so gray. I was so ill. I wasn't well. I needed to be home in my bed, but I wanted to be on the missions. And while we were there, some plaiting hair, some washing the hair of the girls, and some doing this and some doing that. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so I lost my screen. All right, I'm back. So while I was there ministering to the girls, something amazing happened. As I spoke to them about life, and I can just recall reassuring them that God loves them and, God wants to do something great for them. I felt within my physical body an immediate healing in my body. I felt as though the ailments that I had the night before that caused me to be at hospital, immediately as I expressed to them and I shared with them, my body just felt better. You know what message that taught me two lessons. One, that God really does reward us when we do good. Two, it also shows me that when we look out for other people, that it brings about a certain kind of healing. So you're doing good for others, you're praying for others, but guess what? In praying for others, you're doing good to yourself as well. And so that trip really showed me that, yeah man, sometimes as human, you don't feel well. I mean, sometimes you don't even have the resources to give. Sometimes you're limited, but keep doing good. Do it with not an expectancy to receive from humans, Do it because it's the right thing. Don't do it because there is a camera watching you, but do it because it is the right thing. That day was something. I can remember it. I can remember the touch. I can remember the touch.
Wow. Wow. Paula Ricketts said, truth. Amen. Glennis Allen said, teachers of integrity. And wow, Dr. Juan.
Just listening to everything that you've already done, and hearing and sensing this passion and this drive, with all of the ambitious plans that you have, from opening a soup kitchen to starting a scholarship fund. What drives you to keep setting new goals, and how do you envision your legacy?
All right. I want to start with the latter, legacy. It is good when your name is remembered when you are gone. Your name is a good legacy, don't it? But you know what is greater? When even if your name is not remembered, the lives you touch are able to touch another life. And so I just wanted to put that in. As you mentioned, one of the things on my bucket list, I've not done it yet. Bucket list, persons want to travel. I want to travel too. But one of the things on my bucket list is really to start a soup kitchen. And I'm going to tell you why. I want to start a soup kitchen because I can relate to wanting and not having. And I can relate even as a student wanting to actualize and reach the top. But as Abraham Maslow said in his hierarchy of needs, if the needs are at the lower level, if they're not met, guess what? You're not going to be able to actualize. You can't be your best self when you are hungry, right? And so I would love to start a soup kitchen and help, especially those who are hungry in the mornings, to have something to eat. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to give children some soup, and maybe not soup, but hot beverage, a piece of bread with it, something to go to school. Another thing is that I would love to start a scholarship fund because I've struggled for tuition. I've had at one point to rely on the goodness of the household of faith. I've had to do concert, I've had to do fish fry, I've had to sell hats on the side. I would love to assist tertiary students in just focusing on school and not having to carry all of those things that I've had to do. And so what keeps me going, wanting to do things in the future is just helping people. I just want to help people. I don't know what I'll want to do in a year from now, maybe new things to the list. But I can tell you that the baseline of it will be I really want to help people. As I've been helped and as God has helped me, I'd like to help more. I'd like to do better.
Wow. Your thing is to help people, and that is what you're doing. That's what you've been doing. Augusta, talk to Ruchelle about challenges and resilience, because that's a big piece of her life, resilience.
So I would in resiliency, because I like hearing about how people bounce back. Failure teaches a lot of valuable lessons. Could you just kind of share a time where it didn't go the way you expected and how you rebounded from that?
Awesome. All right. Anybody that knows me, if I'm to talk about the lowest point in my life, lowest points, it would be 2 points. One, I'm going to start with the hardest one, right? So the first would be when the person that I wanted to be great for passed. And so when I lost my mom, my world went downhill for a season. I didn't want to encourage anybody. I didn't want anybody to encourage me. I wanted to crouch. I wanted to cry. And within that time, I was so low. But then guess what? I got to a place where I remember saying to God, I said, God, She's my mother, you know, but she was your daughter first.
Mm.
And over time, I started to embrace the memories. I started to know that she would want me to do better. She would want to see me happy. And that really helped me to overcome that. And I currently mother my nephew, who was my mother's grandbaby. And so I raised him also in honor of my late mother. So that was a very low time in my life. Now, as it relates to failure, let me tell you something. There was a time when I struggled to find my tuition. And when I got a little money from fish fry and other things, and persons gave to me, guess what happened? One would think that the story would go great. Guess what happened? I had to take a leave of absence from college. I had to stop. Man, that was devastating. Can you imagine always giving motivational speeches and always saying to young people, hey, you've got to have faith, and always just being that person, especially to the group that I led at the time, the UCAM group, and to be out of school. What do you say now to yourself and to everybody else? And I can remember one day, and God bless my friends from UCAM. I remember one day I was in Kingston because I couldn't stay in my community, drop out of school. And I was already saying, oh, I'm defying the odds. My mother is poor, but I'm going to make it. And this is me, not in school. I had to leave. And so I left and I went to Kingston and I continued working with the campus ministry. I remember one day I went over to a college to support them. This was me over there supporting them. Everybody was in school and I was not. And it broke my heart. But I want to tell you that I continued serving. And one day, not because I was good, not because I had the money to go back, but I believe one day God looked down and He said, you've been serving, you've been faithful, you're still leading the body as though you're still a student as they were. I am going to open a door. And God opened the door and I was able to get back into school. And so those were two very low points in my life. I am happy I did not call a quit. I did learn my lesson. Um, I did learn the lessons that I needed to learn, and I am happy that I was able to overcome that. And now it is a testimony. Should have been a sad story, but is now a glad story. Should have been down, but now I am up. Should have been crying, but now I smile. Now I reflect. Now I think. All things worked together for my good. All right.
Powerful, powerful.
Okay.
Dr. McCook, let's continue with challenges and resilience.
Yeah, so thanks for imparting to us that more personal side of your experience in your life. But on a professional level, you've been engaged and you've impacted lives. But on that professional level, say in your work atmosphere and so on, I mean, what strategies or mindsets have helped you to navigate tough times while staying focused on your purpose? Because the personal is different from the professional. So let us hear about the professional side.
All right. So I'm going to look at my work. Now, there are days, because as I said, my classroom is lit, my classroom is fun. But you do know that there are days when the children are just not in the mood, and days when children are children. And even the adults that I taught, there were days when, they just gave up. They just wanted to go home and to look about their family, and school wasn't working out. What I found during that time or those times, you really have to allow persons to sometimes just to take a break. If I am doing a class and the children are not getting it and I know they need to get it, say I'm teaching a topic and they're just not grasping it, what do? You allow them to take a break, you allow them to rest, and you try another day. And so within the professional setting, something that I have done to deal with hard times is just to always have a contingency plan. Sometimes I just need to step back and regroup, and I try to encourage myself. Why am I doing this? Am I a teacher just on good days, or am I a teacher at heart? And that's gonna mean that sometimes your students are not gonna get it. Sometimes you're not gonna yield to the discipline that you're putting. But hey, guess what? We try another day, right? We try another day. And that's how I look at life. You've just got to keep trying. Change your strategy. So if it is that you're doing a song and they're not getting it, you give it a break and you write it on the board. You give handouts. If it is that, persons are not getting along, and that's something that has really caused even some of my classes to have challenges, children getting at each other. Guess what I do? Just give everybody a time out. All right, children, let's just change our position. All right, let's go. And I try to take the energy, the negative energy, just to push it one side, and we try again. Now, if that doesn't work, then we just have to find something that works, right?
Absolutely. There's no dead end, right? There's always looking for opportunity.
Always.
Right.
Yes.
So we're going to stay on set, and we're going to continue on the future aspirations and the legacy. And Juan, Augusta, you go. Juan?
Yes. So if you could write, and you talked about legacy and name being remembered, but let's focus it on you. So if you could write a letter to your younger self, right, standing in that backyard classroom with cocoa plants, that self, what advice would you give her?
Hey, little Ruchelle. Here's a song that I would play for myself. It is a song by the great Yolanda Adams. It says, visions that will change the world, trapped inside an ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid to dream out loud. It goes on to say, keep the dreams alive. If something deep inside keeps inspiring you, that song there, I would say, Ruchelle, keep dreaming and don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself based on your upbringing. Don't limit yourself based on your background. Don't limit yourself based on the odds that you've had to face, on the storms that you've had to weather. Just know that inside of you, you cocoa plant teaching girl, is greatness, and you're gonna be great. You're off to a great start. Yes.
Do you feel like
and put God first, in all
always, always. Do you all feel like you're in a classroom? Like you're in a classroom?
Absolutely.
You have a teacher.
I'm learning.
Listen,
here.
learning.
Well, so Augusta.
So whether it's somebody in your community, somebody in Spicy Hill, somebody at church, anyone who you may cross paths on your bucket list trip, what is something, a lesson that you would hope anyone who comes in contact with Ruchelle Vincent, what is something that you want them to learn from you or take away from interacting or meeting you?
All right. I want the people that I meet to know that God has a plan for everybody. I want persons to know by meeting me that it's not how you start, it's not how you fail, or it's not about stopping when you fail, but I want my life to be a testimony that people can rise from the ashes. I want my life to be one where especially youths can look on and they can say, then if God could do it for her, God can do it for me. And if she could have gone through all the things that she went through, I can make it too. And so I want persons to look at me, and as the scripture declares, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. And so that's something that I want to always have beaming from me. Hey, you may have made a few mistakes. Hey, life may have been rough, but keep walking, keep going. I wanna bring that message everywhere I go, even without speaking. I want persons to look, and I want those who know also to be encouraged.
Awesome, powerful. Just keep walking.
Keep
Ain't no turning back around here. It's not about that. Now, let's have some fun, right?
Yes.
We're gonna go to the segment we call a rapid fire fun time. All right. So we're gonna go around we call it a circle here on the platform. So we're gonna start with Dr. McCook on the rapid fire segment.
Yeah. So in your daily, you get up, you had a nice night. I mean, in the morning, some people want coffee or tea to start their day. I mean, you're in the spicy hill, so there may be some bush there, which is not even coffee or tea. I mean, what's your day? Is it coffee, tea, or a special bush?
All right, so let me just tell you, I don't like coffee, I don't like tea, I don't like bush. I know they're good for me, and so if I was to choose one, my favorite would be ginger tea. It does something to the body. It just makes me feel, when I'm having tea, just makes me feel good. Makes me feel clear in the headspace. I like me some ginger tea. I like me some mint tea, and I'm growing mint at the back of my house right now.
There you go.
All right. So it's some kind of tea. Some kind of tea. Augusta, you go next. Quick fire. Rapid fire.
Tell us your favorite inspirational quote.
My favorite inspirational quotes. I can. Si se puede. I can. Yes, I can.
Add the book. What is your favorite book?
My favorite book is actually the Bible. Yes, I've read other books, but the Bible does a great justice to all scopes of life. I enjoy reading the Bible.
With such passion, she said, the Bible. I enjoy it. Juan.
All right. So if you had a superpower for one day, just one day, what would it be and why?
All right, this one is a little bit personal. One superpower. If I had a superpower for a day, I would go about the hospitals and I would remove all the cancers from the hospitals. And I would want to see people be well and go back home to their children. I'd want to see people well, go back home to their wives and their husbands. I would want to see the little children who are cancer-ridden and having to do chemotherapy not have to do it anymore. I'd kill cancer.
Wow. Dr. McCook, you get to do the last one.
Well, Ruchelle Vincent, we have heard so much about Ruchelle Vincent. I mean, I know it's going to be difficult, but tell us who you are in 3 words.
3 words. I have 5. I'm trying to find 3. Let's go.
You're good at math. 3 words.
Yes, 3 words.
Rapid fire. Rapid.
Ruchelle Vincent. 3 words. Faith, strength, perseverance.
Wow. That sounds like you.
You did it. Wow.
Yep.
All right, Ruchelle, we're not here forever, right? On this platform. Where time is of the essence, right? So time went by so fast. It's amazing that it did. So here's an opportunity for you to any questions that we didn't ask you, anything you'd like to add. Here's an opportunity for you to just drop it on us.
All right. All right. So, question to you, or just something I'd like to say?
Anything you want to say.
All right. So,
An argument, if you want to call it.
all right. So, I'd like to say that, especially if there are youngsters listening, maybe parents are on and their children are in the room, or parents, it is so important to gift your children with the opportunity of a good education. I would have made mention that learning is ongoing. And I'm going to tell you, is a God and a good education can transform a life. And so, parents, I want to encourage you, do all you can for your children. Don't hold back when it comes on to their education. I want to say, children, if you're listening, get a good education. And remember, God and a good education, even if you're poor at this time, that will be the key. Education is a very good lane from the alleys of poverty. Thank you.
Wow. Powerful, powerful. Dr. McCook, closing arguments?
Yeah, Rochelle, Dr. Stephenson and I are always looking out. You're very talented, and you mentioned Yolanda Adams earlier. And I heard something which I think Dr. Laxley always also heard, because we always look out for that musical talent. And I heard you say something. I want you to go back to Yolanda Adams. Just sing. What song was that you're talking about?
The visions that will change the world.
Yeah, but you started singing it. You started singing it. Just give me a little. Just close out and give me a little of it. Just send us home with a little of that.
All right. Visions that will change the world, trapped inside an ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid to dream out loud. And I'm gonna go on. Keep the dream alive, don't let it die. If something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try, don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you.
Yes. We hear you. So we're going to send a special invitation to you. We have an international song competition. It's held here in Georgia, July. The criteria is that you got to be a Jamaican living in the diaspora or of Jamaican descent. But we may think of, making an exception and have you there as a guest artist. Never know. So look out, watch out. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McCook. Augusta, closing argument.
If you all have learned nothing else this evening, short and sweet, be like a Ruchelle Vincent. Do not limit yourself to the greatness that you could assist and help in this world. You have a multitude of skills that God has blessed you with. Make sure that you use them to change the lives you see every day. Thank you for your time, Ms. Ruchelle.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's powerful. Powerful. There's so much that we learned tonight.
Yes.
But we must say thank you for grace, for blessing us with your presence. We truly appreciate. And it's interesting that a few days ago you probably couldn't have shown up here.
Right.
The way you were feeling, what you was going through, but you're prepared, and you are being prepared for everything that you're doing in your life. It's not just you who's doing it, right? Greater powers at work. Clearly that is so. So I just want to say again, thank you for joining us and for just dropping nuggets upon nuggets upon nuggets on us. You killed it. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I want to say, I want to read from something here. I wrote these, but I don't always remember what they are. It says, and it reminds me of you. It says, I am enough. I have enough. I will live fully without regrets. And that is what I'm hearing coming through you, your words, that you are enough and that you're living fully without regrets. So I thank you for that. I thank you for joining us and hope you will come back.
Yes.
So too.
Please.
And Juan, before we go to your big closing argument, let's acknowledge some more folks here. Santana, is that the musician Santana, the guitar player?
I think that's my cousin.
Okay, it's not.
Yes, my cousins from the Bahamas are on.
Okay, it's not the musician.
No, it's not Carlos.
No, it's not. Okay, he said, "I am so proud of you, my cousin." It's going so fast. The comments are coming. And Bianca said, "Excellent job, Rush. Proud of you." Someone said, Dolores said, "You nailed it." And Jennifer Bolin Tomlinson, another cousin, right? Same name, said, what did she say? "Well done, Rush. I'm proud of you, elegant Tomlin." Oh, man, the list goes on and on. Juan, let me give it to you so you can close it as only you can.
Yes, well, to our distinguished guests, we appreciate you joining the conversation. Of us men, bringing that radiance and that intelligence and that boldness. So we appreciate that. To our listeners and our audience, we always appreciate you. It's the same time every week, Monday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I close with this. One common thing we heard tonight was ambition. And there's a great American author, Frank Tiger. He said this. He says, "Ambition is enthusiasm with a purpose." So be driven, be ambitious, because it leads you to your purpose. It drives your purpose. And I want to also say this, that the saying is this, that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. As you heard from our distinguished guest tonight about being resilient and never giving up, take the shot. Take the shot, be ambitious, because it will drive you to your purpose. So we appreciate you joining us tonight. Have a great evening, and we will see you same time next week. Have a good one.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection, and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid. I put on my armor and I read His word. Blessing come out of my mouth, 'cause I know to whom I belong. I am